News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. Thanks for joining us. Time for the front page. This is where we go through the news that happened after the show yesterday and while we were sleeping. Donald Trump was arraigned. He called the proceeding a very sad day. This from USA Today. Former President Donald Trump pled not guilty to charges he tried to steal the 2020 election following his third arrest and court arraignment in 4 months. A somber-faced Trump entered the courtroom at 4 p.m. to be arraigned. He was wearing a navy blue suit, red tie, and white shirt. He folded his hands on the table in front of him, put his head down, and sat between his attorneys, Todd, Blanche, and John Lauro. Trump and his attorneys quietly talked among themselves, waiting for Magistrate Judge Maxilla A. Upadhyaya to enter. Special counsel Jack Smith, who led the indictment, appeared to be about 15 feet away from President Trump, and the two exchanged looks at each other, including one from Smith that lasted longer than 20 seconds. The hearing began more than 30 minutes after the former president took a seat in the courtroom. He shook his head no as the criminal case was read. Trump offered his plea, not guilty. This is disturbing. Reported from the Hill, 2 United States Navy sailors were arrested this week, charged by the Justice Department with sharing military secrets with Chinese officers. The federal government claims the men transmitted major secrets about drills and ships to Chinese intelligence in exchange for money. These arrests are a reminder of the relentless, aggressive efforts of the People's Republic of China to undermine our democracy and threaten those who defend it, said Assistant Director Suzanne Turner at the FBI's Counterintelligence Division. U.S. Navy Petty Officer Wenheng Zhao at Naval Base Ventura County, California, allegedly transmitted national security secrets from August 2021 to May of 2023 to a Chinese agent posing as a maritime economic researcher. Zhao allegedly earned more than $14,000 from the agent after dishing out secrets on a U.S. military exercise in the Indo-Pacific region and blueprints of a radar system at the U.S. military base in Okinawa, Japan. The Justice Department also charged Jinxiao Wei, he's a U.S. Navy sailor at the naval base in San Diego, in California, on charges of conspiracy. Wei allegedly handed over national defense information to a Chinese agent for thousands of dollars during his time as a machinist on a small aircraft carrier, the USS Essex. From February of 2022 through 2023, the Justice Department says he shared classified secrets on the Essex and similar ships along with U.S. maritime drills. In international news, international news this morning, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, contacted her Chinese counterpart several times before the Biden administration made their release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. This from Fox News. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm engaged in multiple conversations with the Chinese government's top energy official days before the Biden administration announced it would tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to combat high gas prices in 2021. Granholm's previously undisclosed talks with Chinese National Energy Administration Chairman Zhang Jinhua, revealed in an internal Energy Department calendar obtained by Americans for Public Trust. It was then shared with Fox News. Those entries reveal that the Biden administration likely discussed its plans to release oil from the SPR with China before the public announcement, according to calendars. Granholm spoke in one-on-one conversations with Jinhua, who was a longstanding senior member of the Chinese Communist Party, on November 19, 2021. 2 days later, November 21st. Then on November 23rd, the White House announced its release of 50 million barrels of oil from the SPR, the largest released of its kind in U.S. history at the time. Elsewhere in international news, Ukraine said it carried out a sea drone attack on a Russian naval base. This reported from CNN. It was dramatic. The video appeared to show a damaged Russian warship listing heavily in the Black Sea early this morning. Social media images showed the ship being towed near Novorossiysk, the Russian naval base. Let me try this one more time. I practiced before we did this. Novorossiysk. Despite an earlier claim by Russian Defense Ministry that the attack had been repelled. A Ukrainian source told CNN that a sea drone with 450 kilograms of TNT attacked the ship and claimed there were about 100 Russian servicemen aboard. A big Navy ship, Olenogorsky Gornyak, was hit, according to CNN. As a result of the attack, the Russian ship has received serious damage, is not able to fulfill its duties. It was seen heavily listing in the Black Sea earlier today. The vessel was identified by the Ukrainian source and Russian military bloggers. And it is an amphibious ship. It is an amphibious Russian landing ship. Out of immigration news today, Arizona Senator Sinema is very upset about federal New York City funding. Senator Kirsten Sinema of Arizona said yesterday she is livid that the New York City is receiving more than $100 million in federal funds to help cover the cost of providing services to asylum seekers. What we're experiencing here in Arizona is matched only by what folks are experiencing in southern Texas, said Sinema during an event in Yuma. That's in Arizona City near the U.S.-Mexico border. These are two communities that are experienced at this crisis. The rest of the country is seeing some elements of it, but we are facing the brunt. It is wrong and unfair that the Shelter and Services Program money is going to places other than South Texas and southern Arizona. New York City is set to receive $104.6 million in Federal Emergency Management Agency funds to assist in its response to the surge of migrants. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Democrat from New York, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat also from New York, announced on Wednesday, this according to Politico. Also on the border, Texas DPS officers are reported to be arresting fathers and separating families. This from ABC News. The Texas Department of Public Safety arrested several fathers seeking asylum in the United States last month, resulting in them being separated from their families, according to an attorney with the Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid. 26 fathers had been separated from their families in cases that the legal aid agency is aware of, with many of them being arrested on trespassing charges. Audrey Mulholland, a TRLA attorney, told this to ABC News. The arrests occurred between July 10th and the 14th. She said, "The fathers have told me their children were hanging on to them, crying and distraught as they saw their fathers arrested and taken away." When asylum seekers reach the river, Texas DPS officers, instead of immigration officers, direct them to a certain point. They are the ones that are kind of directing them to enter the riverbank. Mulholland then said asylum seekers have told their officers first call for single men and women to cross. Both groups are then arrested. Next, officers call for families to cross, directing men to one side, women and children to the other. The fathers are arrested and then go to state prison. A Texas DPS spokesman told ABC News in a statement there have been instances in which DPS has arrested male migrants on state charges who were with their family when the alleged crime occurred. Children and their mothers are never separated, but instead turned over to the U.S. Border Patrol. In state news today, in Florida, there is more controversy regarding advanced placement classes, this time psychology. Florida school superintendents have been advised by the state yesterday to nix their advanced placement psychology classes unless they exclude any topics related to gender or sexuality. This according to the College Board, which oversees the advanced placement program. Such a shift would mean the courses would not be called advanced placement or used by students to earn college credit, according to the College Board. The organization is advising Florida districts not to offer the class until the state reverses its decision, saying that any AP college course taught in Florida will violate either state law or college requirements. Quote, "We are sad to have learned today that the Florida Department of Education has effectively banned AP psychology in the state by instructing Florida superintendents that teach foundational content on sexual orientation and gender identity is now illegal under state law," said the College Board. The state has said the districts are free to teach AP psychology only if it excludes any mention of these essential topics. In Oregon, Multnomah County, that's where the city of Portland is, has lost $1 billion of revenue from 2020 through 2021. They reported that $1 billion loss in that time frame because of residents fleeing the state amid surging crime, homelessness, and safety concerns. Data analysts conducted by Oregon Live showed that 14,257 tax filers and their dependents left Multnomah County during the first year of the pandemic in 2020 and took a record $1 billion of income with them. The data shows that higher earners were more likely to leave since their jobs could be done remotely during coronavirus shutdowns. And the average income of people leaving was 14% higher than people who had left the year before. Before 2020, Portland had experienced 15 consecutive years of growth, according to Fox 12 Oregon. Our city is in peril, Portland business owner Catherine Seeley told Fox News. This happened in December. Small businesses and large cannot sustain doing business in Portland in its current state. We have no protection or recourse against the criminal behavior that goes unpunished. Also in state news from Tennessee, 4 months after expulsion, a pair of Democrat state reps, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, formally won re-election to their seats in the Tennessee General Assembly. Republicans voted to oust Jones and Pearson from the legislature in April after they interrupted House proceedings with a gun control protest. But the two were quickly reappointed to their seats until the summer's special elections. In Nashville, Jones defeated Republican opponent Lauro Nelson with nearly 80% of the vote for the House District 52 seat. In Memphis, Pearson defeated Republican Jeff Johnston with more than 90% of the vote for the House District 86 seat. In national politics, Ed Rollins, the noted political consultant responsible as one of the early adopters of Ready for Ron PAC, the Ready for Ron PAC, has abandoned the governor of Florida's collapsing presidential campaign, admitting that DeSantis has been a flawed candidate, unable to focus on anything else other than the culture war, in an interview with the left-wing magazine Rolling Stone. This, by the way, being reported by National Pulse. Rollins admitted his frustration with the DeSantis candidacy and explained the Florida governor only has himself to blame. I know some of the people around him. Some of them are good, talented people. Every time he opens his mouth, he has a tendency to, shall we say, think out loud. He clearly doesn't understand this game. When you get into these culture wars the way he has, the vast majority of people don't understand what they are. Rollins, in his own words, has spent the last 12 months running thousands of TV ads, creating tens of millions of online connections, and mailing millions of Americans on behalf of the governor of Florida to little avail as DeSantis continues to slide toward single digits in the polls. That is the Wells Report front page. Thanks very much. We appreciate you listening, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.